Welcome back to Kris Greenhill's Garage, where I have the biggest and best news I have had in years. Kris Jr. has no idea, and I've got to make sure he's not around somewhere, but I've acquired the title, registration sticker, temporary license plates, and insurance on Project White Trash. It is now street legal for the first time since 1999. I recorded a whole bunch of stuff in this video. This video is originally going to be about me ping-ponging back and forth from the black car to the white car and just doing random things on it, because I didn't think this thing was gonna be street legal or ready or anything anytime soon. But Junior and I have done a ton of work on this thing in the last 10 days, 2 weeks, and as it sits right now, I am ready to go down the road in this thing. But Junior has no idea. I've still got several things I need to do it correctly, but I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or I don't know if it's going to be in a week. But all I really need at this point, as you watch the intro to this video, are seat belts and or harnesses. And he and I could hop in this car and go down the street right now. There won't be any driving in this video. That's going to be its own thing. That's going to be its own special event he and I are going to go out and do here soon. This video is all about the prep and everything. I'll go ahead and leave in the original intro that I filmed about working on both cars back and forth and what all I'm going to do to this car. Fast forward 5 minutes if you want to skip all that and just get right into the work. But anyway, thank you for watching. This is very big for us, and hopefully the next time you see this car, it'll be us cruising down the road and not breaking down. Back to the video. Welcome back to Kris Greenhill's Garage. I'm Kris Sr. Not with me right now is Kris Jr. He'll be with me later, or at least he'd better be, because I'm going to need his help. In this video, I'll be going back and forth from Project White Trash to Project Piece of Stang. And I'll just go ahead and give you a brief rundown of what I'm going to be doing in this video, so that the 12 of you who watch this stuff can decide whether or not you want to continue watching or not. Piece of Stang will be getting a new MSD box, an ignition box for the car. It's not so much for the ignition. The DuraSpark does fine. It's mostly for the rev control, the rev limiter. So that's in Street Fire. It's the cheaper version of the MSD Digital 6AL, where it's just got an adjustable rev limiter on it. Very important for this car. We don't want to over rev it accidentally. Again, I'm also going to give Kris Jr. new dash lights in this thing, so we can tell what's going on. The dashboard's so dark you can't see this thing at night. I don't know that we'll get into the actual hard wiring in the dash in this video. It's probably going to be its own separate project someday, but we'll at least get him some dash lights so he can read the dashboard at night. The MSD box will not be going on today because I need to wait for the plug that goes from this adapter to the DuraSpark distributor. I don't want to chop all this up any more than it already is. They make a simple, easy plug-and-play adapter for this. I also talked to Junior. I think we're going to swap these seats side to side. This passenger seat's a lot more stable than this driver's seat. As you can see, when I sit back into the driver's seat, I've got the gangster lean going on. You can see how crooked it is. That's just the way it is. I've tried to space the seat up. It just doesn't work. We're going to swap the seats side to side, see if that helps any. And White Trash, I'm going to make another attempt to get these window motors and window switches to work. I'm going to hook these back up. I'm going to check grounds. Don't know where these came from or what they do, but I'm going to try to get this back together, see what I come up with, see if I can get these windows to go up and down. Winter has ended in Texas. That means we're jumping straight into summer and blazing hot temperatures. So here any minute I'm going to start sweating. I really need the windows on White Trash to go down. If you missed it previously, and most of you did, I attempted to wire these windows up before. I hooked up the harnesses, The window switches were getting power in and out of them, but the windows wouldn't go up and down. When I wired the window motors directly to the fuse box and gave them power, they worked just fine. So I'm not sure if there's a break in the harness or it was a grounding issue or what. But I'm going to try to get these things working. And if that doesn't work, I've got these cheap little momentary window switches. I'm going to wire these into the windows directly to the fuse box, hardwire the windows. I just need them to go up and down. I don't really care what switch does it. I just need them to work. And I do not have it yet. However, I'm ordering a 1-wire alternator for white trash. Really like to be able to charge the battery and get this thing going again. And I need to fix the hood pins on white trash. They're just kind of sitting on here. They're very loose, very wobbly, very floppy. And also I need to shorten these cables. I'm probably just going to run the cable a few inches from here to there, attach them to the actual hood, this bracket itself. If you've never used these, you're going down the road at highway speed, these will beat your paint to death. And we can't be having this beautiful paint being beaten like that, can we? Yeah, that ain't gonna fly. I completely mismeasured these hood pins. I need to mount these more securely, and I really don't want to weld these in place because I might want to go back to the factory hood hinges someday, but I definitely need to come up with something more secure. And I need to wire up my volt gauge so I can tell what's going on voltage wise in the car. Another issue I've got to fix, I'm gonna need Junior's help, is this throttle cable probably has 2 more inches of throw than the carburetor does. The carburetor hits full throttle right there, and the throttle cable will keep pulling, and it bends this bracket, and it's almost completely collapsed this bracket. So I'm gonna need Junior's help setting a throttle stop so it'll quit doing that. As I have found from Piece of Staying, wiring the volt gauge to the battery is completely different than wiring it up inside the car, because they can be 2 completely different readings based on the condition of your wiring. So I'm probably going to wire it inside the car so I know what's going on in here. Anyway, let's get to it. Thinking I'm going to start with the windows on white trash just because I have that stuff sitting here. Future Kris here. You might have just seen me say that I'm going to be working back and forth on both cars. It's a few days later. Some things have changed. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to hyper focus on white trash for the foreseeable future. The black car can wait. I want this car on the road, and I want it on the road immediately. So hopefully by the time you see this, this car will be running and driving down the road. So anyway, you're probably not going to see the black car anymore after this. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm pushing the switch. It's not quite getting 12 volts, but the battery's kind of low today. But the switch obviously works, getting almost 12 volts, but the motor won't move. Enough power to start the car, but not enough power to move the windows. Weird. Obviously something is wrong in the wiring. I've got it all hooked up to the window regulator. These 2 are wild cards. I don't know what they go to. I tried putting power to them and nothing changed. I've messed with the window switches a while. I'm not getting anywhere. It's time to go to these little things. I don't know where I'm going to mount them. I'm just going to leave them over here for now. I just need something I can push and get my windows down ASAP. Oh, and a follower of mine sent me a picture of this and showed me these 2 brackets just hook right there. I can't find this one now all of a sudden, but that one bolted right up. I thought this stuff went up here. I'm still not sure how you hold this in place, but I'm trying to figure it out. Once again, I checked both windows. Both windows are getting 12 volts in and out of the switches. Both window regulators wired up here are getting 12 volts in and out of the regulator, but they don't work when you push the switch, but they do work when you hardwire them. Look at this nonsense. I just slapped 2 little wires in the window regulator motor, just threw this wire together. Oh, damn it, the ground broke. If I reverse the wiring, I swap those two. It tries to go up. Not perfect, but it's doing something. Now all I have to do is figure out how to get power into this to the window motor. Shouldn't be too hard. Once again, this did not come with any instructions, so I'm just gonna wing it. Figure power in to one of the middle ones, and then power out to the top and the bottom. I don't know, I'll figure it out. The switches at least came with a little jumper wire, so I don't have to make those. That's nice. Okay, I think I have this wired up in a way that makes sense in my brain. Or not. Oh, wait, the ignition's not on. All right, let's see. No way! Whoa! Oh, I have it wired upside down. Hold on. Let's try that again. Come on down. Damn ignition switch. Yes! Down goes down. Up goes up. Oh my God, all the way. Can't believe it. The boy, look at my genius. I am amazing. I am genuinely afraid right now. That is twice here recently that my brain has said, electricity go in here, push button it, go out here, and it's worked. That is 2 things in a row I have wired correctly, and I'm a little bit afraid. I should mention 2 things where I had no guidance and there was no diagram available. That's the truly scary part. I can follow a diagram. I didn't have a diagram. Both of these things work. The window goes up and down, and my ignition starts the car. Craziness. And a short time later, I have 2 working windows. Really need to grease those things before they burn out. I'm completely out of spray lube, so I decided to just axle grease the slide rods on the windows and hope it works. Much better. You have no idea how good it feels to be able to sit here in white trash, the windows down, arm out the window, with a breeze blowing through, especially since it's heated up about 25 degrees since I've started this video. Feels amazing. Now I need to hook up my volt gauge. I'm not gonna worry about the lighting on the back of the gauges. Hey, where's your light? Why's the light missing on that one? Dang it. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that for now. I don't need the lights until the car goes down the road, but go ahead and get the volt gauge wired. Well, I got the volt gauge wired in. Let's see if it works. Come on, zoom in a little more. Come on, there we go. Oh, yes. Definitely works. Awesome. And that's on the fuse box in the cab of the car. Oh, it's because I have the battery charger hooked up. That would explain it. But anyway, the gauge works, so all 3 gauges work now. That's awesome. I'll be able to tell when my stuff is going low. I would really like 3 easy little victories in a row, so I'm out here measuring this. It looks like the hood bin should be exactly 3 inches down the bracket. I'm gonna get rid of all these stupid washers for spacers and just mount that directly to the firewall. Yep, 3 inches. Both brackets are back in. They're both 10 times stronger than they were. They both have lock washers on them. They're both rock solid. So that bracket over there is fine. Now this one's sitting way up in the air and won't go down. I think I misadjusted it. I'm gonna have to fix it again. I think I got the hood pin situation taken care of now. I actually had to back this one up to the original hole in the bracket because it was closer. The other one I made is a little too far forward, but everything looks like it's lining up now. It is better and more secure than it was. For whatever reason, I can get 3/4 of the sides to line up, And one of them's sticking up a little extra high every time, no matter what I do, but it is more secure than ever. Most importantly, the front of this no longer has any travel in it, so the fiberglass isn't gonna crack and rattle itself to pieces. Man, that is 3 victories in a row. I don't know if I can maintain this pace. I'm gonna sit in white trash with both my windows down. I'm gonna crank it up and I'm gonna listen to my engine for a minute. Little backfire, but it started right up. Hopefully I'm just a few weeks away from driving it. I cannot wait. I'm chomping at the bit. It has gotten hot and I'm done playing with this car for right now. Well, I'm kind of stuck for the day. I don't have the MSD adapter for Junior's black car. I don't have the alternator for this. I also don't have the light bulbs for the black car. I thought 2 of those 3 things were going to be here today, but I was wrong. Anyway, catch you in a few days. It's later the same day. I forgot I need to make a throttle stop for this thing. So here's what I came up with. I wanted a nice big bolt to catch the pedal to make sure it stops, but the only threaded adapters they had, bigger than a nut, was this. I'm thinking this is too long. I'm not sure it's going to work. Well, maybe I don't need a throttle stop after all. I came in here and I reinforced this bracket. I tightened it all back up. I pulled the secondary return spring off of it and I adjusted this, and now it doesn't seem like it needs a throttle stop. It seems to be working pretty well now. So here it is now that I've readjusted it. I was trying to figure out what I needed to do for the throttle bracket, and now it's throttle stopping itself. It's no longer binding and bending the bracket now I've adjusted it. So I guess I'll hold off on the throttle stop for now and keep that in my back pocket if I need it. I'm truly scared now. That's 4 things that have gone my way in a row. 4 straight victories. I can't keep this streak up, so I've got to call it quits. I got to stop while I'm ahead. And I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to button the car up and come back another day so I can start breaking things and screwing things up again. It's a couple of days later. I am sitting in white trash. I picked this up for 20 bucks, reusable filter with an Edelbrock lid. I'm going to let the boy decide whether he wants that in his car or I'm going to put on my car to replace the paper. One way or another, we're both going to have cloth filters now. I'm sitting around waiting on my 1-wire alternator to arrive in the mail, still a couple of days later. As soon as that arrives, I'm trying to get a charging system. And as I sit here waiting on my 1-wire alternator, it has begun to rain. Good times. So I may not get anything done today at all. Lovely. There has been a big development that just occurred. I now have the big 3. I have a registration sticker, temporary license plate, and insurance on Project White Trash as of right now. Legally, I could drive this thing down the road. I could do whatever I want with it. The only thing that's missing right now are brake lights and tail lights, headlights, the lighting equipment. That's all I'm missing. And it has just occurred to me that I actually only need brake lights to drive it during the day. I don't need headlights and tail lights. So if I can ghetto rig a brake light system, I could go drive this car right now. I mean, that's probably going to take me, being a Neanderthal, it's going to take me days to figure out. But if I can get that rigged up, I can go drive my car right now. So that is now going to be the shift in the focus. So let's get started on that. Okay, I do have part of a taillight harness and part of one up there, or maybe that's headlights. I don't know. Crap. All right, I do think this is the taillight harness. This screws right in. I've even got one bulb that appears to be good. So if I can figure out, your taillight, brake light, blinker, I don't remember. I can't remember what all's what. But all right, so I need to straighten this out, stretch this out, try to figure out how to get it hooked up here, see if I've got any power. If not, I'm gonna have to wire something from scratch like I did the window motors, and We all saw how badly that went. But anyway, let's get started on this. Uh-oh. These things are falling apart, quite literally. That isn't good. They look like they melted at some point, but I never had any electrical problems with the lighting. Maybe that's just age sitting around for 27 years. I don't know. I don't know if these are going to work. Ooh, that's pretty rough. Well, this has taken an embarrassingly long amount of time, but I think I finally have this split up and separated enough. I can lay it in the car and start trying to piece it all together. No idea what goes to what here, what they plug into. I can't find anything to hook them into, but let's see if I can get this going. Or maybe this is my taillight harness that I forgot that I had here in the car. I'm not 100% sure. That looks like it also fits. What is going on here? For God's sake. It is very likely this is actually my headlight harness. I think those clip into that down here. Do I have a headlight? That's a headlight in this thing, I think. Hold on. The good news is I got that sorted out real quick. This was absolutely 100% my taillight harness. I'm not even sure when I hooked that thing up and why I never ran it, but everything just fell into place back here. Except you. Why are you giving me trouble? There we go. All of this just fell into place. It fits perfectly. It's even got the fuel sending unit stuff on it somewhere. There it is. So this is the taillight harness for sure. So I need to turn the power on, see if this is going to work. I found exactly one ground. Doesn't seem right, but I'm going to ground that and see how this goes. It seems so unlikely that this is the only ground on this entire taillight harness, but that's all I can find anywhere. Couldn't find a ground all the way up the length of this, all the way up to where it hooks up. I guess I'll go ahead and just turn on the key and press the pedal and see what happens. Will come as a shock to absolutely nobody that nothing is happening. I've got a couple of good bulbs in there, but nothing's working. Unfortunately, I do not have anyone here to push the pedal while I probe wires, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. You've got to be kidding me. I was lightly pumping the brakes just to see if the brake lights would come on, and something broke in the brake pedal and popped loose. Oh my God, I gotta see what that is. Well, the brake pedal is no big deal. The cotter pin is missing, and the slide from the brake master cylinder, or the brake booster, popped off. I need to find a new cotter pin so it doesn't happen while we're driving, but everything is fine. Kind of making my way through the wiring harness. Started out with my headlight switch, headlight taillight switch. This is working, believe it or not. It gets 13 volts in, and then when you hit it, this red wire here sends 13 volts out. So now I need to figure out where that goes and see where the power is stopping. This is not going to be easy. It is virtually impossible to trace wiring in this nightmare. I might actually have to pull all of this out and start anew. I'm not sure yet, but it's kind of looking that way. Came back here to check on the harness, and this ground is good. This is grounding, but there's no electricity coming through the harness anywhere. I've probed every outlet, every socket. Nothing is making it back here. So we've got a break or something disconnected up front. After a lot of probing, a couple of things have become obvious. For starters, I'm gonna have to pull the dash frame out so I can get to the wiring a lot easier. Maybe pull the steering wheel also, I don't know, but I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'm just gonna take it all apart and see if I can get to this wiring, because the majority of this harness is dead. I can't find the grounds, I can't find anything, so I gotta get to work. Hopefully I'm making forward progress by going backwards. Unfortunately, it is about to actually rain, really rain, and I just realized I disconnected everything and put the windows down. So I need to hook up some power, get the windows back up, and call it a day. I've got to go to work here in a minute. I made some progress today, not the progress I wanted, but something. Hopefully I can get back at this tomorrow. Come on, seriously? I'm going out the door and the guy drops off my alternator and the ignition thing for Junior's car, but all I want to do is go work on my car now. I don't want to go to work. Hopefully tomorrow. It is the next day. It is raining, of course, but we've got the tent up and we're going to try to install this alternator. Look who's joining us.
I put the tent up.
Good job putting up the tent, boy. It's about time you actually did something around here. Where have you been lately while I'm working on cars?
School.
Ugh, school's for losers. Right, here's our new alternator. The old alternator's already out. We're going to throw this new one in. I'm just going to run this wire. I don't have the 4-gauge wire I wanted. I think this is 8-gauge, 10-gauge. Oof, not good, but I'm going to run it straight from here, straight to the positive on the battery, and we'll see if it works, and I'll try to get some bigger wire later. Boy, I'm told that a 1-wire alternator is so simple, even I can't screw it up. What do you think?
I think you could.
Hope this works. Finishing tightening this down. Just ran a simple wire from the lug there to the top of the battery. We're going to fire it up, see if this thing's going to work. Oh, I sort of forgot I took most of the wiring out. I got to see if I can even get this thing to start. Let's see if she'll start up. It's going to be a minute. I am not sure what is happening. I have adjusted the choke. We made sure we have fuel and spark. I've never had this much trouble starting this car before. Come on, baby. It's going to be a while again. So apparently messing with the throttle bracket and stuff sort of kind of fouled out the plugs. They are all just soaking wet with gasoline. So that's why she's not firing. I'm going to go fix that. Forgot that I changed the pump shot to the fattest pump shot possible. So yeah, pumped a little bit too much gasoline into her before I tried to start her. Gonna have to let her dry out a little bit. Junior just discovered that one of our spark plugs is completely different than the other 7. I bought this as a set of 8, and they must have snuck in the wrong one somewhere. We cleaned up the spark plugs, put them back. Still not firing. We're not sure what's going on here. It's been rock solid here lately. Sounds like crap. It sounds like it's running on 3 cylinders. I don't know what's wrong with it. Somewhat coming back around. Alright, it's mostly running now and we're charging 14 volts. Best news possible. Part of the problem is my fuel pressure regulator is not working at all. It's overpowering the floats on the carburetor. It was going up to 9 a second ago, so my fuel pressure regulator is dead. I'll need a new one of those, or I'll need to rebuild it. 14 volts, about 1200 RPM idle. Rev it up a little. It doesn't charge any more or any less really when you rev it up. So we got a steady almost 14 volts at idle. Huge victory. All right, it's back to normal, running like regular. I must have fouled out the plug something horribly because it stunk when we started up, but it's idling and running normally now. And we've got 14 volts, so I'm majorly happy about that. The idle is fluctuating up and down now. I don't know if that's the fuel mixture or from the extra fuel pressure. It's about 7 psi right now. Edelbrock's usually like about 5, but now the idle's just going up and down for no reason. Mistake of flooding the engine, she's Trainer decided he did not want this Edelbrock air cleaner. He likes the one he's got, so this one's on here now. Go ahead and try to start it back up. Let's make sure it charged the battery enough to fire it up. Key on and then push the starter. Oh yeah, perfect. All right, battery's charging well. All right, going back through the wiring harness again and trying to separate everything. It's kind of got a spaghetti effect here, trying to separate all these different harnesses and tape them back up and do a better job than I did last time when I didn't think this was going to be that big a deal. Hey, Christopher, let this be a lesson. Never, ever, ever remove your wiring harness from your car for any reason, okay? This sucks. The weather's really taking a turn for the worse. It started raining really badly. We had to take our top down, or our tarp down, because the wind was getting so hard. It was about to rip our tarp apart. I've gone through a big chunk of this wiring harness, and I'm separating as much of it as I can, taping it all up. What I should have done last year is go through this properly, tape it all up so I know where everything goes. And this is just the first step to diagnosing to figure out what's broken, because I've got random wires that I guess I'll figure out eventually where they go, but I've got multiple open ports and just random pulled out wires on their own that could go almost anywhere. But we're calling it quits for the day and gonna go inside till the weather passes and hopefully come back out tomorrow and finish this nightmare. It's the next day. It has been raining all day and dropped about 30 degrees. Finally cleared up for a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can get some wiring work done. I don't get it. This thing sat inside for 26 years. The door trim's nice and soft and pliable. The windows are sealed. Good window trim here. Entire interior is just soaked. Not just the floor where it's dripped a little. It's like it directly rained on the seats. There's water everywhere. Everything is soaked. I know the windshield leaks a little, but geez, that's ridiculous. Well, I got the taillight harness pretty well sorted and organized. I got everything separated. And now I need to finish up the dash harness so I can figure out where this stuff plugs in and try to get this thing going. With the weather today, it probably won't even be today. It's quite a while later. I have the vast majority of the harness sorted out. I'm down to the last few sections, and yes, those are wire nuts for a house on my wiring. Don't judge me. I was a teenager and poor, and that's what was available. But now I'm left middle-aged having to sort this out. So let's get started. Not 100% sure, but I think this is stereo stuff. Power lead to ignition. No idea what that says. I think most of this is stereo, and I used some connectors, then I ran out of connectors, so I used wire nuts, but I don't know what that does for sure, but I'm going to get it sorted, try to get it organized. Yeah, there's an inline fuse. That's almost definitely stereo stuff. This is in fact stereo. This is the antenna wire. This is the ignition wire. That's why everything's wire nutted in. Ran out of money, ran out of connectors. I am gonna disconnect all of this, cap off the extra wires, tape them together, and call it good for now. Took all that stereo garbage out. Took the stereo wires, doubled them up on each other, taped them all up into one piece. Now I can move on. I'm probably 3/4 of the way through the wiring harness. I've only got a handful of unknown wires that just go nowhere. Good news is they're clipped clean, which I probably did 30 years ago. I got most of this up to here. Now I really kind of need to pull the rest of the harness out of the firewall from under the hood to do the rest of it, which I don't want to do. Well, I really wanted to pull everything out of the firewall and pull everything, my wire tuck, all the way through the engine bay to organize things. Then I saw what a nightmare it is up under here and decided I'm not going to do that. And I'm fine. Everything is fine. It'll be just fine. So I'm just going to carry on. Sounds like a good plan, right, boy? I really got tired of wrapping everything in tape. Now I'm using the big fat parts, putting zip ties around them. Yeah, seems to be working just fine. I got a couple more to apply, and then it's time to start trying to put it back together. Completely reroute the choke in order to get this harness, the grommet, the gasket, to fit in the firewall. And now the choke's working better than ever, so that pleases me. All right, I think I'm ready to try to reroute this thing through the dash and try to figure out how to hook it up now. It's only been a couple of days, and I'm gonna have to pull the steering column to route this wire back behind here, because I forgot this is cut out. There's a hump back here just for wiring, which I forgot about. I was trying to route everything over the steering wheel, and that's not where it goes. It is pouring rain. I am soaked. The car is getting soaked, but I'm almost done. I've already sent Junior inside because he was just helping me on the outside of the car, holding stuff, and he was getting soaked. So I think I have this mostly sorted out. I got the steering column back in. I don't even know if I'm going to get to work on wiring any of this or anything, because everything's getting drenched. I need to go inside and call it a day, but I've got to work the next few days, and I'm not going to have another chance to do this. All right, I got everything wired back up where it'll start up. I think I've got everything where it goes. The ignition is working, so there's that, but the rain is going to drive me inside. I'm pretty much done for the day. Well, I forgot I had the taillight harness laying out in the rain this whole time. I just ran it back inside, but definitely not going to try to hook it up and run power through it with it all soaking wet. So I guess that's the end of my day. The car will start and run again, and time to go back to work for a few days, and I guess I'll try to come fix this next week. It's a couple hours later. The rain has lifted, so I ran down to the parts store. Sadly, they did not have a spring clip, just individual spring clips like I need for the brake pedal. They only have this kit, so I've got to hope one of these fits it. But I need to get that brake pedal reattached properly before I forget and end up getting myself killed. Having a little trouble getting to focus, but that spring clip did work. The brake pedal is reattached and nice and solid. So it was worth buying the kit. The other thing I'm going to do is replace this power wire for the ignition that I'm currently running. Currently it is just shoved into this outlet underneath that fuse. Replacing it with one of these things, some kind of fuse tap, where it's you plug a fuse in, has a wire coming out of it, and you run your wire to this and run the fuse on the side. Got that wired in. Let's see. Yep, works perfectly. Good deal. And the rain is back, and it's late in the day, so that is legitimately it for this week. I am officially done. It's a few days later, and we are going to try to get the tail lights and brake lights wired in this car. Quit trying to look taller than me, boy.
I'm staying behind you.
You ready for this? The first step is going to be actually getting all of this hooked up and figuring out where all it goes. So this, whatever this harness is, this unique harness, I've found the other end of it. We have 3 wires, clipped clean. Obviously clipped clean in the 90s. I don't know why I did that or where they go or what they do. And I can't find the other end of those wires. So it's not like there's 3 other wires just like it, clipped clean. There's no red, green, and black with a blue stripe that I've seen just cut short anywhere. So I have no idea where these go. Clearly it would have come in this taillight harness somewhere. But those wires just kind of don't exist anymore. Good times. Very cool. I wired up these wires over here, and listen. That is my horn relay. So that is working. That's awesome. So if I ever wire up a horn, everything's set up for it. I've gone through this taillight harness and I've hooked up everything that hooks up to something else. I have tons and tons of just empty sockets with nowhere to put them, no corresponding plugs anywhere. I'm hoping most of that is EFI. Maybe some of these are gauges the back of the factory gauge cluster. I don't know. I've hooked up the only few things I could find that actually go anywhere. I'm gonna have to ground this, but I'm gonna see if we can figure out whether we have a signal to the taillights or not. Tell me if that one brake light works. Nothing? All right, nothing's happening, all right. Attempt number 1 is a fail. Just remembered that our brake switch is not hooked up. Now I've got to try to find the cord that plugs into it, see if that works. Finally found the connector for my brake light switch all the way over here behind the AC system, and it just barely reaches. But that is definitely it. It's the only plug in the car that'll fit it. I disconnected the taillight harness, trying to process of elimination to figure out where stuff was. Now I'm gonna hook it back up and see if the brake lights work. Anything from the brake lights? No. Fail number 2. Well, I'm probing the brake light switch, and it's got a signal going through it, but it doesn't, it occasionally disconnects when you push it. There we go. Wait. Oh no, that's the clutch. That's the clutch neutral safety. I am probing the wrong thing, but I may have just figured out why the ignition switch wouldn't work. Yeah, that's the clutch switch. So the neutral safety switch seems to be working, and that might make it to where the car starts with the key and I can get rid of this if I could find the other end of this. I cannot find the plug for the actual key ignition and multiple other things on the steering column. Good times. So I'm crawling under the dashboard looking for my brake switch, and I found this on the floor, and I recognize this as my brake switch. I could probably use a new one. The good news is I recognize where it plugs in. It's definitely that. I guess I'll go ahead and see if this works by some miracle. I just probed this thing out of curiosity, and it is working. I'm going to plug it in and see if it works. Probing the brake light harness gets nothing. There's no signal. There's no power coming in or out of it. There's no signal going in or out. It doesn't complete a circuit. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I got to see if I can figure out where this thing goes and see if it's unplugged. And of course, the brake light switch disappears into the middle of the harness somewhere. I'm gonna have to take this all apart, just have a prayer of tracking it down. So I tracked the power wires in and out of the brake switch, and with the brake switch hooked up, I guess I was probing it incorrectly earlier, it gets a full 13 volts. So the brake switch is working. Now I got to figure out where the brake is, that there's no signal going to the back of the car. You've got to be kidding me, Ford. This is a red wire with a big green stripe and a green wire with a big red stripe. Trying to figure out where they go is almost impossible. This is so stupid. Okay, I got tired of chasing the other wire that goes somewhere under the dash. I'm just going to come back here and start probing and see if any power is making it to the back of the car. After extensive probing back here, we have no power getting to the taillights. So I have to go back up front and probe further up. Boy, I must ground something. You know what to do.
Metal self-tapper.
Metal self-tappers. Drill metal self-tappers. And go.
Putting the key in the car.
Maybe try shutting up, boy. So we may or may not have forgotten to reconnect the taillight harness before all that. So let's try that again. Okay. Probing this taillight back here. We now have 13 volts to this taillight. Unfortunately, I don't have a bulb for this thing to test it. Pump the brake real quick. I don't think that's going to do anything. I don't know if that's our brake light or not. But... all right, we've got something back here. We've got power. So that's somewhere to start. I'm back with new tail light and brake light bulbs. I went ahead and splurged and spent the money on the LEDs. Let's see how this goes. Turn on the lights, boy. The switch is on?
Yeah.
That's not good. This was just getting power a moment ago, but nothing is happening. Flip the switch on and off again. Hey, it's working now. Flip the switch off and on. Yeah, I got a little bit of a flutter. I got a little connections a little shaky in here, but we've got power back here. That's good. They are both working. Kind of hard to see because they're these soft white LED things, but we have two tail lights. Awesome. So I'm an idiot. I had Christopher pumping the brake pedal earlier. The brake switch is not hooked up to the brake pedal. The brake switch is free hanging while I diagnose it. Look, pump it again, boy. We have brake lights. Oh my God, tail lights and brake lights. Now all I have to do is hook up that brake switch to the pedal and we'll have proper working brake lights. This is so exciting. Give me a huzzah, the boy.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Brake pedal.
Boy, before I hook all this up to the brake pedal again, is that working with the tail lights turned off? Brake lights are pumping?
Yep.
Excellent. Brake switch is hooked back up to the pedal. Pump the brake pedal, buddy. Yes. Yes. All right, turn on the headlight switch. I zip tied it up in the dash on the left. The left, your other left.
Yeah.
Tail lights, right? Yes, tail lights. Now pump the brakes. Yes. Oh, so exciting. The next project is hooking up my vacuum advance from the carburetor to the distributor, hoping this is the right thing to use for that. I have a vacuum tube hooked up the first time. I'm not going to cut it to shape until I make sure it works. So it's just kind of twisted around the distributor for now. I'm warming up white trash. Let it get fully warm. I'm going to check the timing. And I need to see what the timing is going to do with the vacuum advance, because I have no idea, because I've never had vacuum advance on it. So that's a problem with this vacuum advance. This distributor is dialing it up to like 50 degrees like Junior's distributor used to. And we got to do something about that. I may have to take this off and weld shut the advance mechanism. So without the vacuum advance hooked up, the timing is going from 16 to 32 at 3,000 RPMs, which is exactly where I want it, just on mechanical. So I'm going to disconnect the vacuum advance and leave it alone. This car seems to like it. It goes over 50 with the vacuum hooked up, and I can't have that. So close. It feels good, doesn't it, boy? Almost, just that close. We have lighting now. Just a couple other things like seat belts. If I can't secure seat belts in the next couple of days, I know a wrecked 94 red convertible is going to donate us some seat belts.
I still think it's a 95.
95, 94, whatever. I don't care. But not sure those seat belts are going to work after being involved in a front end collision, but I need something to legally go down the road here soon, and they might have to do. We got the dash bracket back in. We got the window switches mounted. We got the tack mounted again. So close. We are almost there. You excited, boy? The light switch mounted. It's finally nighttime. Check out our awesome brake lights. Yes, they're honestly not all that awesome, but they are factually lights. We have hazards?
No, I just mean Kris.
Oh, you're joking. Ugh. So the headlight switch is a little finicky. You got to kind of wiggle it to play with it to come on. Pump the brakes. Yes. No third brake light, because that's how we roll. It is the next day. I'm going to give it about an hour. Checking the garage. I'm going to try to locate the seat belts to white trash, because we have them somewhere. And if that doesn't work, there's a guy who's got some seat belts posted online for sale about an hour away. But there are no racing harnesses available anywhere. And if none of that works out by midday, I'm going to have Junior take the seat belts out of the red car, and we're going to test them out and try them out. But really debating driving the car today. It's either got to be today or it's going to not be for another 10 days. And then we have to depend on the weather to hold in those 10 days. So not really sure what I'm going to do. For now, we're going to dig into the pile of garbage that is supposed to be just car parts, but is not. I have a little bit of hope. Here is the sunshade thing for the back of my car. So the majority of my interior should be right here somewhere. Found about 95% of my interior, but we have struck out on any type of seat belt at all. They may not even be here. Someone may have borrowed them 20 years ago and I forgot. Convertible seat belts are still working. They're catching on impact. The springs and everything are still good, but I forgot the convertible has the dual retractors. It's not a single retractor like my car, and I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to fit that around the roll cage or not if we use these. Convertible seat belts are not gonna work. They do not mount the same way in this convertible that they do in the 88 GT. Dang it. Cleaning out the garage, I found my original radiator support from the 90s. Unfortunately, my Harwood sticker, which is what my cowl hood is, did not survive. Very well, intact at least, but I don't know if I'm gonna put that back on or not. Nah, I guess I'll just leave it. The clean silver looks cleaner with everything else. I just heard back from a guy who's got seat belts, but it's gonna be this afternoon. It's going to take us a couple hours to get there and back, so the car is not going to go anywhere today, unfortunately. It'll be at least another 10 days. I guess the next thing I need to do is pull the distributor, weld up the vacuum or the advanced slots, so I quit getting 50 degrees of timing so I don't destroy anything. The distributor is aimed exactly 12 o'clock straight back, so that should make it very easy to put back in. Got the distributor apart. Unlike distributors I've had in the past, this is not marked at all for advance. I have no idea what the advance is on this. There's no numbers anywhere. The canister isn't marked anywhere. Anyway, I'm just gonna weld up half of these and call it good, I hope. Got it welded and ground back down. Might have closed it off a bit too much, but it's better than having a bit too much timing and detonating. So let's see what happens. Yeah, not a whole lot of advance. Guess we'll see what happens. Alrighty, in theory, this should be ready to rock and roll and fire right up, but it's cold and it's not going to. One pump shot and try to fire it. Yeah, keep going. There's no fuel pressure, so. We've not been able to get the engine to fire, and we have to go run an errand, so we'll be back later for this. The boy and I have just taken a little road trip. Brown box contains seat belts. Got seat belts on Facebook Marketplace, dirt cheap. 60 bucks for all working seat belts, including the back seat, which probably won't ever exist in our car again, or my car at least. Anyway, we're on the way back to reinstall those things. We are back with the seat belts. But much to my shame and embarrassment, I could not get this thing to fire earlier when I put the distributor back in it. It was so bad we ran the battery down, so the battery's been charging, the starter's been cooling off. Hopefully we can get this fired up now and get it timed. Well, I guess I stabbed the distributor the correct way this time. It fired right up. Earlier I couldn't get it to start at all. All right, time to time this thing. 3,000 RPMs. 3,000. Oh, that isn't good. One more time. Okay, that vacuum advance is doing the same thing. Vacuum advance is pulling over 50, even with the distributor welded up. That isn't good. I took the vacuum off, capped the distributor and the carburetor. Let's see what it does on the vacuum advance. 3,000 RPM, go! Well, that's an odd one. With the vacuum advance hooked up, this thing is shooting up like 50 to 60 degrees by 3,000 RPMs. But with the vacuum disconnected, just the mechanical advance with the weights and springs, I'm getting 34 degrees of timing, which is exactly where I want it. So I'm just going to leave this uncapped and just run it as is right now until I can get that figured out. Seatbelt time, boy. Let's get to work. May have to pull these seats. This one went in okay because my seat is canted over this way a lot. His seat is canted towards the middle, and that bolt is right up against the seat. So we may have to pull them just to put seat belts in this car. I'm not sure what's going on. Trying to install the seat belts, and they are locked. I cannot get them to unlock. They won't move 3 inches. I cannot figure out how to unlock them. I try to take them all the way in and bring them back out, and they will not unlock. I'm not happy. Well, here we are in white trash, seat belted in. That far from driving this thing. We are almost there. All right. Maybe one of these days, if I can find some, we'll get some full racing harnesses in here. But this is just about it for this week. Got to go back to work. I realized I need to screw this down and bolt this down, and I found my windshield wiper arms in here. So I need to install those. Not that the windshield wiper motor works, but just to have them. What do you think, boy? You think these 1999 windshield wipers will still work?
No.
Look, boy, we have windshield wipers. What's more important, boy, being street legal or looking street legal?
Looking street legal.
Correct. Good job. It's a few days later. We're just 5 days away from driving this thing. I've come through and I've cleaned out the car for the most part. I'm going to leave my headlight harness in it. I'm going to leave the timing light, timing wrench, a couple little things, but everything else is gone. Got 2 nice empty spots for people to ride in. And I'm going to wire up a little auxiliary port thing so we can charge phones and things of that nature as we drive around. All right, installed. I think we all saw this coming. All this stuff is temporary anyway, so it's all got to go here before too long. I legitimately think I'm done now. It is time. All that is left to do is to show up here in a few days and hope it starts and hope it goes well. And it's the next day. It's my last day off to work on the car before drive day. And I've come back and I've got some cheap little seat harnesses. We just put seat belts in this, but I got these seat harnesses also that can be mounted on the roll bar. So I'm going to go ahead and install them, and then we'll just see how it goes from there. It's quite a while later because I accidentally installed this harness buckle the wrong way, and it wouldn't go in upside down. But I've got both of them installed. The seat belts are co-installed also, so I mean we can can't reach the stupid thing. We can wear our seat belts also, either or. Both of them are working just fine. So kind of depend on how uncomfortable this is after a little while, but good and secure. And no, I didn't need these. I tried to buy these. The guy wasn't available. Then I got the seat belts. Then the guy messaged me this morning and said, hey, can you come get those harnesses? So I did. Oh, well, better safe than sorry. Using the harnesses is going to take a little bit of getting used to it. Okay, I can barely reach all my switches and all the stuff I need. I can barely reach all 3 pedals, but I mean, that's the seat, not the harness. All right, that's as prepared as I can possibly be for this event. That is it. I'm officially done. We are 5 days away from hopefully driving this thing. Forecast says the weather's warm and clear that day. Just pray this thing starts and pray it makes it through the day and a test drive and everything safely. Anyway, that's it. I am done. I have no idea how long this video will be. It feels like I've recorded 2 or 3 hours worth. I hope not. I'm going to post it anyway. If somehow by some miracle you're still with me, you're still watching, thank you very much. God bless you. On behalf of Kris Jr., thank you. Have a great day. With any luck, in 5 days, you'll be watching a video of us driving this thing. Take care.